Call it to order. Call to order the meeting of the Zoning Board of Review, Town of North Smithfield. Today is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Roll call, please. Bethany, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Najarian.
Here.
Mr. Masterson and Mark and Tony are not here. Bethany Benoit, I'm here. Gail Berlinghoff.
Here.
Andre Gill. Here. Joey Savigny.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Item 3 is that disclosure of no compensation or pension credits received by board members. Item 4 is also the standard disclosure and notice zoning board of review members shall disclose any ex parte communications about any contested or material adjudicatory facts or opinions concerning the merits of any application before the zoning board of review. Since we have time, I'll just go off on a little tangent for a second. For members who never actually heard it, what that phrase means is that's related to the ethics and the, not just ethics, but also the open meeting laws. So on the ethical side, each of us cannot go out and just do investigative research on our own. We cannot communicate with somebody who is somehow affiliated with the applicant unless it's part of this proceeding. If by chance you did have such an occasion to have a communication with somebody related to the case that is outside the venue in the occasion of a meeting, then you must come forward, otherwise that is a breach. And it's the same thing, it's the same thing with phone calls or emails or conversations. No more than 2 of us can speak to each other at any given time about anything. 2 of you can. And then we can talk about whatever you want, even facts related to a particular application. It's when that third person is involved that it's creating a quorum, and that's outside the boundaries of a meeting, and therefore that's an ethics violation. And of course, the reason it's a serious matter is for relatively obvious reasons, is that you're conducting business outside the formal confines of this body. And that's one of the worst things that we can do is that violation, and that puts you in serious jeopardy with regard to any application that's in front of us, because a judge could very easily rule that the case has been corrupted and he or she, the lawyer, could go and ask for relief. So those are the 2 really fundamental issues. The ex parte communication, which means essentially out of this realm, you cannot discuss things with people on the application side. And frankly, you should use good judgment when talking to the public. You, all individuals, you can say whatever you want. And I just said you should use good judgment. Whatever that means to each and every one of us is whatever it means. And whenever you do speak to anybody who asks you, you make it very clear that you are not speaking as anyone other than yourself. But we're all entitled to our opinion. So yeah, if somebody came up here on the sidewalk and said, "Hey, what do you think of that?" You have every right. But discretion is the better part of the approach, because you keep internal to yourself, and debate is here, not out there. So those are and then that means also you'll get notification. I think it's March 27th.
Yeah, it's the 27th. It's Thursday night.
Meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So really, all of us should attend if we can, because I'm sure there's always something new, and for the new people, it's a good refresher so that you know exactly what you can, cannot, or should and should not do in the eyes of the Ethics Commission. And just as we said, if you, even as it relates to if a family member were to come, then clearly the proper thing to do is to recuse yourself. Or if it's your best buddy who needs a variance on a plot of land, disclose it to the solicitor. The solicitor can then interpret whether he feels that that goes over the line of impartiality, it's a cut and dry case, you're doing more disservice to your friend if you bring it into a big mess than you are if you just step back and say, let it go on its merits. I trust and I respect my fellow members. They're going to do the right thing. So those are the things to be key to. And then, like we said just briefly, there's really only three things essentially that we do. Special use permit, use variance, and dimensional variance. And the fourth is we're an appeals board. And our appellate board responsibilities have been reduced dramatically now. We would primarily just sit and appeal to a decision that the zoning building official might make. We no longer do appeals of the planning board. But we are the only body within, just like every other town, that has that judicial component to its task, whereby we can rule. And then, of course, if the aggrieved feels that they always have the right to appeal to the Superior Court. And that's why we're not having quite as many meetings as zoning boards had since the inception, because that new law redefined and gave the planning board far more authority than they ever had before. So, and also the zoning official. We're the only board that was reduced in its authority. And so we're adjusting, actually, because we don't need nearly as much as we used to. Okay, back to the center of the road here. Approval of the minutes for 12/10/24. You had those, well, they were distributed. I had them. I think you got them too. They were just being reviewed for some grammaticals. They were fine the first read, so if anybody, I think everybody had it in time to give it a quick read. Do we have any additions or corrections to be made? If not, do we have a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from 12/10/24.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the same is true for the last meeting on 1/28. I think Vivian got those out today. It was a relatively minor, not a complicated affair by any stretch. So the same, if no one has any additions or corrections to be made, I'll take a motion to accept the meeting minutes from 1/28/25.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of 1/28/25.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last item on the agenda is the written decision for ZBR 2403, which was the application for special use permit for 61 Reservoir Road for the ground-mounted solar voltaic system, section 5.7.4. That was distributed today, but I think we'll have a chance to review it. The usual verbiage, all the P items that were admitted into evidence are there. The findings of facts are as they were stated. So I don't have any issue with it. I don't know if anybody, again, all we're doing is approving the written decision, which is reflective of the motion that was passed. Do we have a second, not a motion to accept the written decision?
I make a motion to accept the written decision for ZBA 2403.
ZBR.
I'm sorry, ZBR.
That's good.
No, so-
Second? We have a second.
Vinnie.
Mr. Marcantoni. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the voting, we're fine because it was myself, Mr. Marcantonio, Ms. Benoit, and Mr. Gill, so that's fine. And as I sent it to you, Gail,
Mhm.
it's a 4. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll just leave this here for Vivian. Oh, she wanted, okay. There we
We
go.
got one for you.
And a motion to adjourn.
I have a question,
Good.
Mr. Chairman. When is our next meeting?
Our next meeting, I think, is in question, because I know that 44 Railroad
Right.
was continued to a date certain of the 25th, I believe. Right? The 25th is in, yeah. But Vivian told me today that she did not get the formal resubmittal of the application and therefore she was not able to post it in compliance with the law.
Okay.
And so therefore, we cannot have the meeting. I also advised her, or suggested that she talk to council and that she notify the applicant that the meeting must be continued because they did not submit. So we're at a standstill until they submit formally the new application, because the lawyer clearly acknowledged that the application he submitted was not correct. Therefore, it has to be re-advertised as though it never occurred. So when he responds to her, I don't believe there are any other applications out there. So I'm assuming, which we'll find out from Leo, he's on vacation this week, I think. If another application comes up, then we'll have a meeting for that. But I think at this point, I'll follow up with Leo.
So if he's applying for, like, it's never happened before, is it going to be a brand-new application?
Correct.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the original people that saw the original would be voting, or would it actually be the voting members?
I believe there was so much ambiguity that it would restart. It wouldn't make sense to, because the first meeting we shouldn't be talking about this, but I'll make it brief. We talked about things that were missing more than things that were present. So we can check with council,
Okay.
but I would believe that because he is submitting a new application, we have to almost approach it as though it never occurred, which wipes the slate clean. But we can double check.
Yeah.
So that's that. Andre? Okay. All right, now we can have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Vinnie?
All in favor?
Aye.
Everything? Sure.
As far as ethics go,
Yes.
for me, what happens if somebody comes in front of us